Should you go see Ben Affleck's latest film, Air, which delves into the origin of the Air Jordan basketball shoes? Stick around to find out. This film nailed the 80s aesthetic, everything from the costume design to the music choices to even the stolen Mike and Ikes. Affleck's hot pink jumpsuit and great purple Porsche kept us solidly grounded in the 80s. Nike CEO Phil Knight, played by Ben Affleck, actually drove this great purple Porsche in the 80s. And it is heinous anus, bro. But if you hang on to something long enough, it comes back in style. The film reveals that the Nike slogan, "Just Do It," was actually inspired by a death row inmate who at his execution said, "Just do it." The theme that sometimes you have to risk it all is interwoven throughout the film. But Jason Bateman's character Rob undercuts that notion, showing that sometimes when someone risks it all, others can become collateral. Another theme that was present is that sometimes you have to break the rules in order to create new paradigms. From the NBA requirement that a shoe must be at least 51% white to athletes getting paid what they're actually worth and getting a percentage of each shoe sold, this movie challenges prior ways of thinking. So often we continue to do things because that's the way they have always been done. But what if we did them differently? The dialogue in this film is quippy and top-notch, especially between Matt Damon's character and Michael Jordan's agent, played by Chris Messina. Matt Damon's performance was fantastic, with even small things like him realizing that he needs to go to North Carolina to talk with the Jordan family. Chris Tucker was absolutely hilarious as always and was a great addition to the cast. Viola Davis had a really calm sensibility to her and really fleshed out the cast as a woman who truly believed in her son. Honey, it's just a pair of shoes until my son steps into them. We all know more or less how this story ends, but there are moments in this film where it feels like the odds are stacked against Nike and that they don't stand a chance. That's what creates such great tension within this film. It doesn't take away from the drama, but rather makes it bearable because we know somewhat how this thing ends. So my main goal with this channel is to encourage more people to get out to the movie theater. And in the spirit of that, I ended up taking my dad to go see this film. I often go to the theater alone, and I knew this was a film that my dad would enjoy, so I invited him to go with me. It was great seeing the parts that really tickled him because he has such an endearing laugh. He's one of those repeat the line they just said and laugh kind of guys, and we just had a blast. It was great to have a shared experience and then get to be able to talk with someone about the movie after seeing it. I don't consider this a spoiler, but I thought it was an odd directorial choice to not show Michael Jordan's face, even though he's in a lot of scenes. Perhaps it was because they interwove clips of Michael Jordan's actual career and they couldn't find an actor that looked close enough. I'm not really sure, but I did find it odd. I just thought of HBO's Winning Time and how much Quincy Isaiah added to the role of Magic Johnson. I felt like in a lot of these board meetings, Michael Jordan would be having more dialogue and speaking up more. So for me, that was a bit of a distraction, but mileage may vary. A minor nitpick, but Michael Jordan felt somewhat hidden in his own film. If you've seen The Last Dance, it'll give you a greater appreciation for the life and career of Michael Jordan. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. Affleck's film definitely takes creative liberties, but the bones remain mostly the same. The real-life David Falk, who was Michael Jordan's agent, seemed much more interested in Nike than his film counterpart. But this change in the film created far more tension and was preferable than being 100% accurate. This is crazy. Nike had hoped to sell $3 million in Air Jordans in the first 4 years, and they ended up selling $126 million in the first year alone. Because of the revenue share deal that Jordan made with Nike, he makes $400 million a year in passive income. 400 millies. Damn! I want to be like Mike. Hey, I want to be like Mike. This film was quite a bit funnier than I was expecting. I knew I was going to get the dramatic events retelling the origin of the Air Jordan, but I didn't expect as many laughs as I got. My dad and I were cracking up through half the film. So who is this film for? I think it's for anyone who appreciates drama and a good underdog story. And it seems weird to call Nike an underdog, but in this story, they certainly were. I definitely recommend going and checking Air out in the theater. It's a great time and a fun watch. Air doesn't quite rise to the heights of Affleck's top shelf films like Gone Baby Gone, Argo, and The Town, but it does stand as a well-rounded good time at the cinema. I give Air an 8 out of 10. It's great. If you are interested in checking out any other films at the theater, you've got to see my John Wick Chapter 4 review, which you can find right here, and I will catch you in the next one.